So it completely depends on where you go and where in which city you go. We also, 22 years ago, got married in Costa Rica, which is why I'm glad Kathleen Evans is here, our good friend from Costa Rica. We love that place, and so does Kathleen. She's going to tell you about it, an eternal favorite. Kathleen Evans, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Can I get a pura vida? Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Pura vida. Okay, that is what we say in Costa Rica. And I know a lot of you are interested in Costa Rica. I looked at the pre-survey. So I am going to start this off for those of you who want to reminisce and those of you who haven't been there yet with a fantastic video that will really capture Pura Vida.
What is it about a beautiful sunrise that energizes the body? That perfect cup of coffee that makes you feel strong and warm inside? Or the sound of crashing waters that reconnects you to the wonderment of nature? As a neuroscientist, I'm always searching to understand the human mind, discovering how our experiences, senses, culture, and philosophies define our lives and our happiness. I've come to Costa Rica to find out what it is about this special country that is creating a sense of well-being and joy to all who visit. Ultimately in life, we make choices that define what type of life we want and who we want to be. Costa Rica, my choice, naturally.
And maybe someday soon it'll be your choice. So, Costa Rica is not an island. One of my pet peeves, I hear it a lot. We are on that little isthmus of land between North and South America. Okay, we've got Nicaragua to the northern border, Panama to the south, and then the beauty of two different oceans, the Pacific side on the west and the Caribbean on the east. So why does Costa Rica remain a favorite eternally? I mean, decade after decade, expats love to retire to Costa Rica. Well, here are some of my tops. There's 12 microclimates. So there's pretty much something for everyone. Beaches, temperate weather in the mountains, jungles, lakes, forests. There is affordable health care. We have a fairly straightforward residency process that we'll be talking about tomorrow during the workshop. A lower cost of living overall than in North America. Foreigners can own a home or a business outright. I mean, you can buy property just with your passport. It is considered a stable democracy, and there's abundant nature and national parks. In fact, 28% of the country is protected land. There's healthy lifestyles. There's easy flights back and forth to North America, and the tap water is potable. Okay, so healthcare, always a very important concern for anyone who's thinking of retiring. There are top-notch healthcare, public and private hospitals throughout the country. There are 3 JCI certified private hospitals, and this is an international designation only to the top-tiered medical facilities. So we've got 3 of those in the capital in San Jose, and then we also have a very good private hospital in Liberia, which is the other major city. So there's lots of different healthcare options. Once you attain your residency, you are a part of the nationalized healthcare system called the CAHA, and that costs 7 to 11% of your monthly reported income. There's also private insurance policies that are available. A lot of the name brands you've heard of, like Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare. There's also a local Costa Rican healthcare company. And then if you are retired U.S. military, more doctors and hospitals are now taking TRICARE Select overseas insurance. So you'd want to check into that. And then some people prefer just to self-pay. And here's why. Medical procedure comparisons to the US could save you from 45 to 85%. So, for example, a heart bypass that might cost upwards of $130,000 in the US is about $24,000 in Costa Rica. Also, general dentistry is one of the number one medical tourism things that go on there. For example, a root canal, up to $800 in the US, $315 in Costa Rica. So, pathways to residency. Tomorrow in the workshop, Roger Peterson, our CR attorney, is going to get into this in a lot more detail. There's basically 5 ways. Most expats do the top 3. The pensionado, you prove that you have a lifelong pension of $1,000 or more, and you can start your process. Your Social Security benefits do count towards that. Or the rentista, where you can deposit $60,000 in a local bank. That's to prove that you have an income over the next 2 years of your temporary residency. You don't actually have to touch that money, but you do have to prove to the government that you're self-sustainable. Then there's the inversionista, or the investor, where you invest $200,000 into Costa Rica, whether it's a business, a development, or your home qualifies. You can also marry a local. That's an easy route. And you can give birth to a baby. Most of the expats I know prefer not to go that route, but you can do it, right? So I mentioned Costa Rica is a stable democracy. We abolished our military in 1948 and pledged that budget to education and the Caja system. It's often called the Switzerland of Central America because of our safety and stance on being politically correct. How's that? It is overall a safe country, and it's culturally respectful, very much family first, and LGBTQ rights are respected. There is a new law that's coming out this year for same-sex marriage, and partner benefits are already part of the Caja. Now, I mentioned a healthy lifestyle. Food's a big part of Costa Rica. We're very overabundant in fresh fruits and vegetables. Every town, every village, every city has a weekly feria, or a farmer's market where you can go and just get the most beautiful fruits and vegetables. You'll see there's a lot less processed foods there. Calcium occurs naturally in the water for strong bones. There's an abundance of seafood. We have both coasts. And Guanacaste, the province in the north, is beef country. So if you like a good steak, you can get it in Costa Rica. There's lots of new chefs that are coming in and fusing their flavors with local Costa Rican foods. So we're seeing some great restaurants. And if you've heard of a Soda, it's a local family-owned restaurant in Costa Rica. They are popular everywhere. You can go for dinner for 2 for just $20 in many places. Or if you like upscale dining, there's plenty of tourist areas as well. You can get dinner for 2 with a drink for around $45 or more, depending on how extravagant you want to get. But healthy lifestyle isn't just about food. It's about activity too, and you can find just about anything you want to do, except snow skiing, in Costa Rica. So if you like surfing, golf, deep sea fishing, you name it, you can find it there. Now, I mentioned easy flights. There are 2 international airports. The main one is in San Jose, in the capital city, and then the other one is in Guanacaste in Liberia, which is to the north. All of the major North American airlines do fly into both airports, as well as several from South America and Europe. And then there's also multiple national restaurants or airports. We have 4 small airlines that will fly to over a dozen airports in country. So we get questions on faith, just like all of Latin America. It's predominantly Catholic, about 70%. You can enjoy some beautiful churches and cathedrals around the country. It's about 14% Protestant. 11% of this survey do not identify with religion. And then 5% is what your other would be considered. Now, if you're looking at an English-speaking service, all of the expat communities do have some. So they're typically non-denominational Protestant churches. Okay, don't leave Fido behind. We get a lot of questions about importing your pets. It's actually very easy to bring your pet. You want to check with your airline requirements and make a reservation early because they do limit the amount of pets that you can bring on any given flight. You get with your vet. There are international forms that they will have and know how to fill out. Get your vaccinations, and there's a rabies document. Then all of this gets sent to either your state's USDA Plant and Animal Division or your Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and do that 10 days before flying. Get your forms back, collect them, carry on the flight. You'll meet a representative who will look that over. There is no quarantine. You get to walk out of the airport with Fido. So the currency is the cologne. That's actually named after Christopher Columbus. And current exchange rate, $1 US to $5.83 or 1 Canadian to $4.40. Time magazine voted Costa Rican colones as the prettiest currency in the world. So I agree with it, actually. So while we're talking about money, the good news, you can have foreign earned income as a U.S. citizen up to $105,900. You won't be taxed on that, but you do have to pay Social Security taxes. Real estate taxes are extremely low at 0.25% based on the registered value. So if your home is $200,000, do the math, that's $500 a year, right? CDs, if you transfer them into colonies, they pay as much as 5 to 10% interest. So if you're interested in investing in Costa Rica, it's a good buy. And online banking is available at all the major banks now. There are a few challenges. You can't open a bank account until you have your residency process started. And you cannot get a tax break investing your capital gains. And there's also a lot of new anti-money laundering laws. And so it's making it a little more challenging to move money into your account. So always have a good lawyer and a good accountant. Importing firearms, laws are a little stiffer as far as Costa Rica compared to the US. I won't go through all the things you need to do, but you do have to have your permanent residency before you can even have a gun. So you'll get a copy of this in an email. I do want to talk about this, just a brief slide. We're going to delve into this a lot tomorrow at the workshop. There are lots of popular expat regions. I will be covering 6 of them. And I'm going to show you just a couple of quick real estate examples. Now, this first one is in Atenas. This is in the Central Valley near the capital, about an hour away. It's a new 2-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's listed for $150,000. Comes in a gated community. You have your own swimming pool, mountain views, modern appliances, and furnishings. Okay, now here's something coastal. This is Dominical. This is on the beach in the southern zone. And this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath penthouse condo for $179,000. And this is also furnished in a gated private golf course community and very close to the beach. All right, cost of living. So we have, things can vary from $1,000 to $10,000, but a realistic budget in Costa Rica on average, including everything, your housing, utilities, groceries, healthcare, would be right around $2,500. Okay, and as I mentioned, it can vary quite a bit depending on how you want to live your lifestyle. But I also like to get into the challenges because Costa Rica is not perfect. I know I hate to say that, but it's not. So see these roads? This is what my neck of the woods looks like in rainy season. You don't want to have a brand new car. Okay? Things slither, things sting, things bite. You have to deal with bugs. You're in a tropical rainforest, okay? Typically, they're not life-threatening, but if you're really freaked out by bugs, maybe it's not the right place for you. Learning a new language. Yep, we speak Spanish in Costa Rica, and it's always good to learn some Spanish because you're going to need it to get by. But the good news is there's all kinds of ways you can do it. There's immersion classes, but there's also fun expat conversation classes that you can get involved with. Things take longer. There's bureaucracy, there's red tape. See that picture? I actually took that. It looks like a line. Well, it actually looks like a mob. It's not really a line at the bank. And my advice is bring a good book and pack a big bag of patience. Okay, addresses. If you're an Amazon junkie, maybe it's not the place for you yet. Okay, so things take longer, things cost more, and the addresses are kind of crazy. And I have this product as an example. So this says, product made and distributed in Costa Rica for Unilever of Central America. Here's their address. Go to the cross of San Antonio de Belén, and then 400 meters east and 800 meters north. That is their registered address, and if you move to Costa Rica, that's going to be something like that, right? I live 300 meters east of Restaurant Patagonia. So if Patagonia moves, I'm screwed, really. But Costa Rica is not perfect, but it is perfectly amazing. From the culture and the nature and the people, I couldn't find anywhere else that I would not want to call home. So I'd like to say muchas gracias. I'm here to help. My email is Costa Rica at internationalliving.com, and you can follow me on any social media. I post lots of fun Costa Rica stuff. And please join us if you're very interested. Join us for our Costa Rica workshop, A Place for Every Taste. Tomorrow at 4:15, Roger Peterson, our attorney, will be joining us. I am going to do regional breakdowns and talk about the pros of each area, as well as giving you some real estate examples of each of those. And then Roger will be talking in more detail about the pathways to residency, as well as what you need to know to buy property in Costa Rica. Thank you very much.